Alright, I will admit that this is an interesting idea. Interesting in the sense that I probably shouldn't do it, but anyway, we're gonna try this anyway. Today is the day that I'm going to make the Xbox Series X in automation. No relation, but I figured it would be kind of fun. I don't know. It's a simple design. Automation has 3D stuff now, and yes, I've already kind of went ahead and made the basic shape with a couple of names and things. And there is a car there, but you don't need to see it. It doesn't actually matter for this one. Before we go too far, I just want to say I have a website now. automotiveflux.com is where you can find these Bugo stickers. I'm actually mailing them myself. So if you're interested, they are $5 US. That's $6.25 Canadian and $4.20 something in euros. So please check it out if you're interested. They are vegan and cruelty free, just in case you're unaware. Okay, so my basic idea here is literally just to model the Xbox Series X in this game. And to do that, I've basically just made a giant rectangle because that's a pretty good way to start. I'm gonna move it up and then we'll have to be careful moving it back down, but I want to have it up a little bit because the Xbox Series X has a very small sort of cylinder on the bottom of it that holds it up, and I've got to figure out how the heck we're going to do a lot of these other pieces. Like, we have a lot of 3D models and things, but the top of this is concave, so we'll have to work on that too. Needless to say, it's not going to be super easy. I think it'll be fun though, so that's why I'm doing it. Okay, the snapping is all weird because it's actually snapping to the car body that's there, which I should probably tell you looks like this. I just picked the tiniest van possible. It doesn't really need to exist, it's fine. But through the magic of 3D fixture placement, we can make beautiful creations. And I just noticed as well that they added dirt texture to the bottom of this. I don't remember that ever being there, but it's definitely interesting. Okay, cylinder on the bottom is complete. Now this is not going to be a one-to-one scale or anything like that. I'm very much just doing this on my own without any scale, just looking at pictures. That's literally all I'm doing. Okay, I want to get on to some slightly more interesting and also I guess mildly more exciting stuff, like adding in the whole front face. So my idea is this is going to be the front, and then the sides are plain, so I don't really need to do anything with those. And then the back will probably be the hardest part. It kind of depends on how we do on this front end. Also, for some reason the wheels on this car just kind of clip back in. I'm actually just going to quickly change the rims. Yeah, it's very weird. They'll just appear there for now. I'll just have to ignore that. Okay, so for the disk drive, I think I'm going to use these pieces here. This is kind of what I was planning to do originally. And it does have to be rounded because it seems like the disk drive is rounded at the top. I should confess I don't have one of these. I'm basing this exclusively off of promotional pictures. So take that how you will. Okay, alright, we're getting somewhere. This is, well, it seems like it needs to go up almost half of the length of this, so I might actually just have to shrink this thing down. It seems like it might be a little bit too big. Okay, so that is indeed a disk drive. Figuring out the Xbox symbol is going to be difficult. That is going to be a challenge. But next thing is actually just a button. So I think I can do that. I kind of have an idea of what I want to do for buttons, although I think there might only be one. We'll have to take a look at the back to make sure of that. But I want to do double. So I'm going to have one on the outside and then one on the inside and hope that it kind of makes a bit of a 3D effect instead of just having like one small piece. We'll see how that works though. Okay, simply put, all I need to do here is just take this, then duplicate it, and then just make another one slightly bigger and slightly more pushed back. And then I guess that kind of looks a little bit more like a button. It might be sticking out a little bit too much, but I kind of like it. All right, that's the front is it really does look like an Xbox. Okay, let's make the Xbox symbol. Let's see if I can't just figure that one out. Okay, so we have a foundation, and it actually appears to be pretty much the perfect scale, which I'm really happy about. It does look kind of peach colored, but it is supposed to be white. Maybe I'm just in the wrong tab. Yep, it was definitely me just being in the wrong tab. Apparently I am mildly dumb, but it's okay. We have an official White dot. Now, my plan was originally to try and cut that out using some of these shapes here to get the Xbox symbol working. However, that is going to be challenging. Challenging to say the least, my goodness. Because none of them are rounded and the symbol itself is mildly rounded. So I'm gonna have to try something different. That looks pretty good if you ignore the dark shadows. From a distance, that looks really, really close. Like shockingly close. I'm very impressed with that. However, you'll notice if you look on the side, just kind of give it some room. There are some lines coming off of it, and that's because those pieces are not color matched to this. So that's more of just a temporary idea for now. I kind of like the idea of going with the white background and then having the other pieces cut out of it, but that means that these other pieces cut out of it need to match this color-wise, which is not easy to do. The ones that I'm using for this are these brackets, and they are not colorable, unfortunately. If they were, problem solved. That looks perfect from a distance. Just a really far distance. There you go. Oh, it's so nice. Okay, I just thought of this idea, and I'm unsure if it's going to work or not, but I'm using a body molding piece to kind of just go around this. And you can see that that's kind of off, which is not ideal. Once again, things not quite lining up properly. Okay, now it's a Spider-Man console. I actually really like the look of that symbol, but that's not really what I was after. I was hoping to cover up that part. Yeah, it definitely looks noticeable. Darn. Alright. Back to the drawing board on that one. I'll come back to it. Let's do the top holes, because I feel like that's going to be tricky. Now, part of the problem with this is that, well, it's concave at the top. I don't think I'm going to be able to get that effect, not without significant effort in terms of trying to warp some of these body molding pieces, because there doesn't seem to be really anything like that, just in the quick looking that I've done. However, we can do some work in terms of making perforations in the top, because, well, exhaust pieces should work perfectly for that, so I'm going to give it a try and see how it turns out. Now, looking in the top, they are perfectly circular, and I guess I can count them to try and see how many of them there are. I probably should. So it's 12 by 12, which means there are 144 of them. That's a lot, so this is going to be even more interesting. Yikes, okay. 12 by 12, let's see if I can't just do that in a reasonable pattern as well. That's going to be the tricky part. Okay, so my idea was kind of that I wanted to make this in a way that it would allow me to have these things here, not necessarily like rings like they are now, but with perforations. Specifically through the Xbox chassis thing that I've created, because I kind of want it to look nice. So the trick then becomes, how do I get body cutouts on this thing? Because it's seemingly not gonna happen with anything. Like, our normal cutting out technique is completely ineffective on this thing because it's not technically part of the car. It is one giant fixture. So yeah, that's going to be tricky. I hope I can figure this one out though. Okay, so here's a demo of what it would look like if I kind of just went with it as is. Not great, but again, it would be kind of covering that whole requirement on the top. This is using these pieces here instead of the other ones. The exhaust pipes just didn't quite work out for me, so I'm gonna leave that just in my head. I'll think about it and see what I want to do. Didn't take me too long to do that. I could do like 12 more of them or 11 more of them without too much trouble. But let's go on to the back because I think that's pretty darn important. There is a lot to do back here. Okay, so looking at the back of the Xbox Series X, again, a lot more perforations. That's going to be difficult. And then we have things like USB ports. There is an Ethernet plug, storage expansion, HDMI, and power cable. And then there's a big thing on the top that kind of just says what the thing is. So yeah, I guess I may as well start mapping that out. I think I'm going to plan it out first before I touch anything, because I don't want to mess it up. You know what? Everything is just going straight downhill after that pretty decent attempt on the rest of the thing. Because I'm not quite getting the shape of this one right. It just isn't quite working out for me. That's okay though. I mean, it's never gonna be perfect. But my goal here is mostly just to try to get this piece in a good place so that I can see where everything else is gonna line up, including all of the holes and stuff that are going to be down here, and then this will be where the writing is. Then we'll have to do USB ports and such. Alright, I'm basically just testing out what I had before, except this time I've got to follow a much closer pattern, because that's just kind of how it is on the back. And again, perforations, not going to work. I might have to make a second version of this. So I'm assuming that they're the same size because they kind of look to be the same size. So that means that they will be, so it's up by 11 and then across by 6 on each side. That is still quite a few, my goodness. Okay, so that's what 11 up looks like, and then 6 across is going to be a little bit more tricky. Let me see. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. Like, it's giving me enough room to work with in the middle, so I'm just gonna continue with that. I'll be here for a bit. Goodness, well, here we go. Now's the time to start putting holes in it. There we go, my goodness. Just ignore the jankiness, it's fine. They're perfectly even. That's an optical illusion, I swear. Okay, now let's get the actual plugs out of the way. I'm just gonna pick features or fixtures that just kind of mildly resemble them, because again, no perforations, so we just kind of have to guess. Okay, so there's the back end kind of done. This is my stand-in for an HDMI. I know that looks bloody terrible, but I'm having trouble finding a good like trapezoidal piece. I was thinking of putting badges over top of these things to try and give them a bit more character, but yeah, at the moment they're just kind of outlines. That's all I have. Anyway, let's move on to the top, and then I think that might almost be it. I mean, I can add a little bit of a logo here, I guess. I probably should. So the game crashed and I load back in and I see this. You know, I completely forgot that there was a minivan back there. And yes, it is now officially carrying the Xbox Series X, which is almost done. I think I might have to wrap up soon just because the game isn't handling it very well. But let's say goodbye to that once again. We don't exactly need it now, do we? Oh yes, we can raise and lower the Series X using the engine hoists. Or the car hoists, I mean. Yes, it does go up and down quite interestingly. So I wrote Xbox on the back of it in very large letters. I don't like it, so I'm going to attempt to get rid of that. Yeah, I think that'll wrap that up. And then I just gotta finish the top holes, I guess. Okay, I decided to 86 the top things because they look terrible. The back doesn't look terrible from a distance, but I think the angle I'm really going for on this is more that like down view that they use for promotional stuff. So I think that's it. As odd as that is the Xbox Series X in automation, kind of. It's not great, but I want to take this time. Like, I'm not the best builder in automation. I think that's pretty clear from my videos. Some of you can do this better than I can, and I'm very interested to see it. So please, take my ideas, apply it to your own builds, and come up with something weird like this. This is mostly inspired by the fact that people have been making a lot of non-cars lately in automation, and I just find that to be fun. So I was like, you know what? Let's make something new. Console looks pretty easy to design, and here we are an hour later and it looks like garbage. But hey, let's see what it looks like in photo mode. That's all that matters. And wow, I got some hiding to do. Oh my goodness, it looks perfect in the black mirror. Yes! Oh no, okay, the black X on the Xbox stands out a little bit too much. It does kind of look like a knockoff when you do it like that. However, I'm liking this a little bit too much. Let's try, ooh, now that's bright. Okay, I'd like to recreate an Xbox promo image using this fancy thing that I've just created. It almost resembles the fridge version more than the actual version, although I'm not too worried about that. Alright, turn aperture up, and we'll put on autofocus so we can actually see what's going on. Yeah, that's the new Xbox symbol. Don't worry too much about that. You know, I actually wouldn't have minded if they changed it to this. It looks kind of cool. I'm a logo designer now, apparently. Funnily enough, you can still kind of see the shadow from the wheels that would be there but aren't there. So I don't know what I'm going to do about that. I don't use these filters too much, but I'm going to use the black and white filter just to kind of get a good angle on things. And then I think the focal length is a bit off. Camera tilt and stuff should be good. Yeah, there she is. All I need to do is slap a keyboard and mouse right next to this thing, and yeah, it's good to go. The original Xbox. Nobody knows the difference. No differences at all. Okay, I had this terrible idea, but I'm going to I'm just gonna take this and move it over into the storage area. This is the 80s design room, but it fits perfectly in here. Look at it. It does look like a fridge though, my goodness. They really nailed that fridge aesthetic. Let's get a picture of it right next to the drawing board here. Quick photo. You know how it is, the Bugo apparently is smaller than the Xbox fridge. I didn't anticipate this one. Well, I think that's gonna be it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. My goodness, I understand this is a bit of a weird concept, and I'm happy to bring it to you in the form of whatever kind of ridiculousness this is. I'm having fun. Hopefully you're having fun too. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more like it, be sure to subscribe to this channel because I make a lot of videos like this, and hopefully they're a bit more organized and come out with something a little bit nicer, but you'll just have to watch to find out. And don't forget again, the Bugo is right here, but there are Bugo stickers on my website. Be sure to check those out, and again, I'm shipping them myself. I'm trying to make them as cheap as possible because I want you guys to actually buy them and use them. Be sure to send me a picture of wherever you put them, and as well, I've been including little personalized notes with all of them, so yeah, please show me where you guys put these. I'm very, very curious. That's kind of what makes it worth it for me to see what you guys can do with it. See you guys again next time. Big thank you to the channel members who are supporting this channel despite some of my weirdness. You guys are awesome. Overlord, QT Bear, Terry Williams, Jeff Von Palms, G.A. Pope, Davis Hester, The German Dude, Mickey K1, Eli Mason, and Sleep64. Thank you guys for your support. See you guys again on the next one. And thank you as well for those of you who have bought stickers. Double support, my goodness. I appreciate it a lot, really. I say that every video, but it's really true. I'm running out of words to describe it. See you guys again next time.